behalf of the organizing committee, I am pleased to welcome you to the third day of the Global Summit on Open Diamond Access. Over the past 2 days, we have engaged in meaningful dialogue on transparency, technology, and collaboration. Today, we continue our shared commitment to advancing open, secure, and inclusive access within the global diamond ecosystem. So today we are having a plenary 3, building, supporting and sustaining diamond open access infrastructure. The key factors. This session is chaired by Zoe, head of the Open Science Unit, ANR France. Zoe, please.
Hello, everyone. May I ask my dear panelists to come on stage with me, please? Have a seat. Don't be shy. Thank you. May I ask you to share the presentation number 3, please? Thank you. So it's my pleasure to moderate this session. So this panel will focus on supporting and sustaining diamond open access infrastructure. And we will address, when we address this question, we are confronted with a wide diversity of mechanisms currently in place. These include notably in-kind support, projects funding, dedicated funds at national or regional level, and collective funding pledging. So this mechanism, it's not this one. It's the name 3 on the presentation. This mechanism may also vary depending on national or regional context, and they often combine short-term, mid-term approach with the goal or the ambition of a long-term sustainability. No, it's not this one, it's the 3, the number 3.
Hello?
No, it's not this one.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, but just, it's not a good presentation, sorry. Yeah, this one, thank you so much.
No. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. So, okay, the objective of this panel will be first to acknowledge the diversity of diamond open access sustainability mechanism, to learn from different national and regional contexts, to exchange on what works, what does not, and where models reach their limits, and to identify shared needs and practical levers for long-term sustainability. To do that, we hope to be able to explore today together, explore funding and support mechanisms beyond project-based model, understand governance structure that ensure long-term sustainability, support and build shared interoperable infrastructure, and discuss how we could incentive institution and funders' engagement in diamond open access. To do that, we will have an amazing panel with 3 online participants. Soshi Kubota from Japan. We will have also Charu Verma from India, and Sareh Cordoba, who is represented Latindex. And in person, we will have Francis Gingras from Canada, Vanessa Frohnman from Netherlands, Mohamed Tanzil Multasam from Indonesia, and Laurence El Khoury from France. And I think we miss Amilcar Bernardo Tome da Silva. I don't know if you are in the room, but if yes, could you please come on stage with us? And so to start this discussion, we will have 3 time. The first time it will be a first introduction by each panelist. I would like to request all panelists to keep your presentation very short, very brief, direct to the topic, so 3 minutes per person. Then we will have a round of discussion, and then we will ensure to keep at least 15 minutes to discuss with the audience. So to start, I don't know if Amilcar is here or not. Maybe no? So we will, okay, so if he's not present, we will start directly with the presentation of Mohamed Tanzil Multasam. If you could come, please, yeah. And I think it's the presentation number 2 on your file. Thank you. And thank you, because Ashley will keep the time for us, so she will let you know when you will have only 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. I will start my stopwatch, yes, 3 minutes. So it will be short. I think slide number 4. Yes, but you need to open correct slide. Number 4. Number 4. Yet. Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, I'm from the Relawan Journal Indonesia and also the library director in the Undas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, one of the private university in Indonesia. As you know that there is 5,000 university in Indonesia, and my university is one of them. So, what is the Relawan Journal Indonesia? So the Relawan Journal Indonesia itself, maybe my colleague Arbain is already inform you about how we organize, how we work like that. But in here I will be share again about our goal next. In the next is we want to be as the kind of the hub for the journal, especially the Diamond Open Access Journal, as to accomplish like giving them the shared infrastructure for hosting. For now, we give them shared infrastructure for the hosting and the UI management. Also, the shared facilitate them to the educate journal editor with our platform. The KL name is the RGI Academy, and we also have kind of platform with a supervisor platform that our member, we have a kind of 250 person that give educate to this kind of platform. So editor journal, if they have kind of problem, they just going to that platform and settle up the meeting Zoom, or want to have just a chit chat, and we can answer all questions about the related to the journal. So we provide all that for free. So also we help them to manage with how to complete your metadata in the journal, because as you know that now it's like 30,000 journal in Indonesia and not many of them have kind of complete readiness metadata. And also this is the main problem now is in Indonesia. There is huge quantity, is also huge problem in it. So also this kind of information about the integrity, misconduct, about the paper mills, APC maybe reduce that, but still there is problem with it. We can still seeing that the editor selling spot for the author buying as the author position or that kind of service. So we need to think more about that. That's why giving recognition to the reviewer, that editor that work for it is, I think now need more than the author itself. In Indonesia actually they have kind of recognition for the reviewer, but it's not enough. They need more. We need to encourage more people, more professor, more expert to do reviewing job, not just like voluntary, but like kind of obligation instruct, because in Indonesia, for example, it's different. Many professors, they don't want to waste their time to doing review in the journal. Even they doing that only for the student. But they not have kind of time to doing like peer service to the community like that. So we need to make them do that with more recognition for the reviewer. That's why I want we to remind again that if diamond open access ecosystem lost their integrity that as a focus, as the main reason why we're doing diamond open access like that, we need more focus in that integrity, because government often they said why we need a non-APC journal. If we say that with the non-APC journal, it can increase how the trust, how the honest people, honest person, accountability, transparent work do, then maybe the government can have more concern to this kind of infrastructure of that diamond open access. That's why we need more focus in how to the infrastructure prevent that kind of misconduct happen like that, especially in that we now have kind of platform we already built. I think it's that enough for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for keeping the time. We really appreciate it. May I ask Amilcar Bernardo Tomé da Silva to give your first 3 minutes presentation? Thank you.
Good morning. Bom dia. Eu vou utilizar os 3 minutos que me são atribuídos para a minha apresentação e, consequentemente, falar um pouco sobre os aspectos mais importantes da ciência aberta, ou do acesso aberto. Chamo-me Amilcar Bernardo Tomé da Silva, médico, sou docente e investigador da Faculdade de Medicina da Universidade Agostinho Neto, em Angola. Faculdade essa onde eu sou professor auxiliar, ensinando fisiologia humana e médica. Atualmente, exerço função de diretor nacional de Ciência, Tecnologia e Inovação do Ministério do Ensino Superior, Ciência, Tecnologia e Inovação do Governo de Angola. Esta direção, ela tem como objetivo fundamental prestar um serviço executivo, um serviço de execução direta, né, das políticas de ciência, tecnologia e inovação na República de Angola. Tem encarregue de promover e executar políticas de ciência, de investigação, de tecnologia, assim como o desenvolvimento da pesquisa, fundamentada em pesquisa fundamental, passo pleonasmo, pesquisa aplicada e a pesquisa experimental. Elaborar as estratégias para coordenar e gerir os princípios os principais atores, nesse caso de ciência, tecnologia e inovação. Falando, nesse caso, da ciência aberta, nós temos algumas iniciativas e que já vão se tornando um pouco mais cimentadas com a criação do Repositório Nacional de Acesso Aberto. Existem também algumas iniciativas nas instituições de ensino superior, com a criação de revistas essas que vão ser conectadas diretamente também a repositórios que estão a ser criados, ou seja, com iniciativas também de serem criados, no sentido de formarmos um sistema integrado de interligação, nesse caso, da ciência em Angola. Em princípio, são esses aspectos que gostaria de apresentar e os outros vamos abordá-los à medida que vai se decorrendo aqui as preleções. Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much. And thank you for speaking slowly to allow enough time for the translation. It's quite good. May I ask Francis Gingras, who is coming from Quebec, to present their initiative on Diamond Open Access? And it's the good slides. I think. It's the third one. Yeah. Yes, I think so. No, the other one. Yeah.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you today. And since multilingualism is not a vain word in this conference, and we have translation, so I will do my presentation in French. Alors, le réseau CIRCE que je représente aujourd'hui, à titre de directeur général, est un réseau qui a été fondé à la suite d'une initiative du Fonds de recherche du Québec qui consacre 10 millions de dollars pendant 5 ans pour permettre à tous les acteurs de l'écosystème de l'édition savante au Québec d'entrer en relation et de prévoir des solutions pour une transition aussi agréable et facile que possible vers le libre accès diamant. C'est avec les acteurs qu'on cherche des solutions, puisque toutes les revues financées par les fonds de recherche du Québec devront être en accès libre diamant d'ici quelques années. Le nom du réseau, CIRCE, fait référence à une figure importante, mais relativement méconnue de l'histoire du Québec, Eva Circé-Côté, qui était une bibliothécaire qui a œuvré pour la libre circulation des savoirs, notamment dans les communautés défavorisées de Montréal, les communautés ouvrières où il n'y avait pas de bibliothèque. Elle a ouvert la première bibliothèque à l'attention des ouvriers. Elle écrivait que le savoir, comme l'eau, devrait être accessible à tous. On voit que ce combat qu'elle menait au début du XXe siècle prend une autre forme aujourd'hui avec notre mission à l'égard du libre accès diamant. Alors, le réseau CIRCE fonctionne à partir de 4 pôles qui réunissent des acteurs qui étaient déjà présents avant l'arrivée du réseau, donc en 2024. Ces principaux acteurs, évidemment, ce sont les revues savantes. Alors, environ 122 revues québécoises qui publient majoritairement en français, donc au moins 50% des articles sont publiés en français. Ce pôle revue travaille de concert avec la plateforme Érudit. Donc, cette plateforme est dans le paysage québécois et canadien depuis plus de 25 ans. Les revues connaissaient déjà bien la plateforme, mais on offre à travers le réseau une autre occasion de dialogue et de co-construction de solutions. La particularité du réseau, c'est d'intégrer aussi l'ensemble des bibliothèques universitaires québécoises, elles-mêmes regroupées dans le partenariat des bibliothèques universitaires du Québec. Donc, toutes ces bibliothèques sont partie prenante dans cette recherche de solutions. Enfin, le réseau compte sur un pôle recherche dirigé par Vincent Larivière, que vous connaissez probablement, chercheur important sur les questions de découvrabilité, qui travaille sur cette question plus spécifiquement, d'assurer que les contenus, notamment les contenus en français, bénéficient d'une bonne découvrabilité dans ce contexte du libre accès diamant. Alors, les questions que nous avons posées pour trouver des solutions, ce sont des questions qui relèvent en partie de la communauté que nous créons à travers ce réseau. Donc, nous avons créé des communautés de pratique à travers les différents pôles, mais des communautés aussi interpôles. Nous travaillons aussi à la mutualisation des ressources. Je pourrais vous en parler plus longuement plus tard. Et nous cherchons aussi à valoriser le travail éditorial, autant du point de vue des professionnels qui travaillent à l'édition que des chercheurs, des chercheuses qui consacrent une partie de leur carrière universitaire au travail de l'édition savante. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Francis, et merci aussi d'avoir fait une présentation relativement courte. Laurence Elkoury, si tu peux nous rejoindre. So Laurence is Deputy Director of CNRS, one of the main performing organizations in France.
Hello all, and thank you, Zoe, for the invitation. Thank you for the participants. Thank you for the organizer. Thank you for all the people who have joined this meeting. I am very, very happy to be here again in India, and I'm proud to be part of this panel. I can speak without my slides. I'm deputy head of a department, open research department at CNRS, and not of the whole CNRS. Disclaimer.
Could you keep the same presentation, please? Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm deputy head of a department at CNRS and not of the whole CNRS. Disclaimer. Anyway, I'm going to speak about what we are doing in our department and for CNRS. We are in charge of the open science policy at CNRS, and we are working. Yeah. And we have released a roadmap in 2019, claiming all these steps like talking about publication, research data, individual evaluation of research regarding open science, and of course training and skills. And all this was possible in 2019 because we have also, and you have seen it yesterday for the one who were here, a Ministry of Higher Education who is dedicated also to open science and who had released his open science roadmap also. So it's easy when you have a ministry and governance who are dedicated to these teams that you want to make come true. So every year we take stock of what we have done related to this open science roadmap. So first year, 2019, we claimed that it was a necessary revolution. Then a year after, where we stand, and then about assessment practices regarding open science. And all these things, you can find them on our website. And you can find the roadmap in 3 languages, English, French, and Spanish, as well as the open research data plan that we release the year after. So it's important to go step by step and to make people know what we are doing. So this every year we have this gathering of CNRS research people and supporting staff in order to see how we advance. And last year, in November 2025, we took stock of what we have done, and now we have gone through all the roadmap. So what's important is that for publication, Diamond Open Access is very important, and you know that the budget is not increasing, money is not increasing, so we have to divert the flows the financial flow, and this is what we have done while stopping some contract that we had with some publishers who didn't want to share the same criteria that we wanted to do. So in 2019, we have stopped with a major publisher our contract. So with this money, we have argued to our governance, the directory of CNRS, in order to make it remain in the system and fund open diamond open access journals instead of these subscriptions. So this is very important. And last year or the year before, we have stopped also a major contract with another service provider, and this helped also, it was a lot of money, so it helped also to sustain infrastructures, because when you are using infrastructure which are how you say, free to use, you need to acknowledge that you are using them and to participate in a way or another, at least to know how it's functioning and how to maybe support in a way or another. It's also the case for open software, open source software, because these are things that are very fragile. So if you are stopping to use a private software and instead using an open source software, you need to commit also to the communities. So, and to support the changes, we need to change incentives also and rewards that are consistent to the policy we are going to address. So what's important, it's to build, like you said, but maybe not creating new infrastructure, but maybe using the infrastructures that exist and make them evolve in order to stick to your policies and to the criteria that seem important at the moment, and also participate at different levels. It's not always funding, it can be in kind, it can be hosting, it can be providing any sort of services, or at least to be aware of what it costs and what are and how Mohammed said earlier, how to build trust in the infrastructure or whatever journals you are using or want to use. And of course, you need to think about it at the long term and to sustain, to follow up, to question whether it's still sticking to what you want to do today, to the science that is being done today, and the policies that you are not now aware of it. And sometimes you need to update or even close, but it's not a problem, because if it's not moving, if it's not evolving, this can be a problem. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurence. To Vanessa Prodman, who is the director of Spark Europe.
Good morning, everybody. So in the discussion later, I'll be focusing on Europe, but now I have the privilege of actually looking at a number of regions across the globe. I've got two hats on today, the Almasi hat, which is an EC-funded project, which has been looking at policy and funding for not-for-profit publishing in Latin America, Africa, and Europe. And I'm going to share some of those findings with you today, particularly zooming in on what are the types of services and infrastructures in place that we rely on, how are they funded, what are the funding streams, and then I'll also be talking about SCOS, that's my other hat this morning. So first of all, Almasi, there are a couple of really important reports that just came out, one being the landscape report on OA Diamond Publishing. We took a lens of looking at 45 countries at the context of publishing, and I unpicked, looking at the funding strategies and looking at some of the trends in the regions. And if we look, for example, in Europe at some of the trends, There are policies and strategies in place, not many policies that address Diamond OA specifically, but some of those that are in place do have funding mechanisms. So if we have policies and strategies in place, for example, in Switzerland or Ireland, some of the things that countries are really zooming in on and funding is they're building networks to build capacity for diamonds. So they are funding the people behind Diamond to really scale this up and organize themselves much more professionally. Ireland in particular, for example, they also have a focus on sustainability. How do we sustain this system? So it's not just funding infrastructure or flipping journals, but it's really thinking ahead, how do we really create a system that really works well in the future? So they're really funding things to make things more sustainable going forward. I think that's a very interesting development. So you see that in some countries really looking at that important point and funding that activity. In Spain, for example, I think there's a very interesting and really important development where government is really very much focused on stimulating and funding interoperable and open source software. So that really must underpin the work that we do. So I think that's very promising and important. We've also got experimental models that we're looking at in various countries, in the Netherlands, in Germany, Switzerland. So how can we pool funds via libraries, but also outside of libraries, between universities? How can we pool funds to fund essential infrastructure? And the UKB working group, which is university libraries in the Netherlands on open access, are doing so. There's an interesting proposal by Bernhard Mittermeier in Germany, who says that if you have transformative agreements, that perhaps a percentage of that should go to Diamond Open Access and to infrastructure. So I think that's also a very promising way of how can we find the funds collectively. And then there is the development of shared services, and I will tell you a bit more about that later. I think we will have opportunities. But there are university presses organizing themselves on national and international levels, seeing how they can also fund Diamond going forward, and development of capacity hubs. Just quickly, and I think I will talk to that mainly in the questions going forward, the other scoping report on not-for-profit publishing ecosystems, we looked at a range of infrastructures you see on the right and services, really important ones. How are they funded? What kind of models? I'll talk to those later. And I think I'd just like to stop on this one. SCOS, you've heard about SCOS. If you look at, we have a collection of the key Diamond infrastructures globally that we all rely on. What do they cost? $6 million a year only. All of those, the key infrastructures that we depend upon. Think about that. There are some countries in the room that spend 120 million euros on their publications, on APCs and on subscriptions per year. 120 million. This is 6 million for all of the infrastructures here on this slide to support global Diamond through these open infrastructures. So we really need to collectively think about how we fund that. So I'd just like you to think about that. It's not much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vanessa. We will now go through the online presentation. So may I ask Charu Verma from CSIR, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research, to start your presentation. It was good. The presentation was good. Hello, Charu. Could you see your slide?
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, it's not the good one. Sorry, I will. No, it's good. I will go. And I could switch for you if you let me know.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all the participants of this global summit on Diamond Open Access, those who are present in person and those who are online. So, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity for a noble cause, and congratulations to the organizer for making this very, very difficult task, doable. So, with this, I would like to start with the introduction, which I think is around 3 minutes. I'm Dr. Charu Verma, and I come from R&D Hub of India, which is a CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. And one of the labs out of those 37 labs is National Institute of Science Communication and Policy Research, which is based in New Delhi in India. Now, as part of this session, the key take for me would be that sustaining the Diamond Open Access is not a publishing problem. So it's basically the governance, the infrastructure, the public investment, and how that can be used judiciously. And that is only possible through the global cooperation for the knowledge sharing for the better society. With that, I would like to give a brief introduction of what exactly we do and how is that going to make a sustainable model for the Diamond Open Access. Next slide, please. So we are basically, giving Diamond Open Access for, I would say, for last 2 decades, wherein the top management decided that we need to serve the society not by making revenue but giving them knowledge that is free of cost. So we started with multiple set of journals. These are pretty old journals. We started way back in 1942, but the open access we started in around 2 decades back. So we have a portfolio of around 15 research journals in various disciplines of science and technology. So they fall into biological sciences, physical sciences, information sciences, library sciences, and they are basically, something specific and something which is multidisciplinary as well. So we have, this portfolio which is making us the only government institution in India that publishes these 15 index research journals, and that too completely free of cost. We do not charge any APC, we do not ask for any subscription cost, because we believe that unless we share this knowledge with the society can never come up with something which is more innovative than this what is being given to them. So open science is definitely required and is the need of the hour, and that is why I think we are all meeting in this. So we are a crucial contributor to One Nation One Subscription. Even the governors thought that the whole nation need to have one subscription, which is an easy access of this high level knowledge to all the part of the society. So we are basically rated in all the highest possible registrations like JCR, the SciMego, SiteScore, NAS, and we are completely registered in all those directory of open access journals, so that we provide the platform which is unanimous globally as well, apart from being free of cost in India. So we are just trying to propagating and facilitating the industrial R&D. So we have around 40% international contribution in terms of the editorial board, the authors and the reviewers, and we are very proud that we also are covered in the Patent Cooperation Treaty of WIPO. So 2 of our journals are covered in that, so as to eliminate any plagiarism in case of prior art which is existing in India. So we see that in case we are open access, we are not just trying to conserve the cultural heritage, we are also trying to have the knowledge sharing, which is also giving rise to the innovative solutions later on. So we have complete DOIs assigned, that is making everything also citable well in time before even it is printed. And we also have multiple special issues which are on the contemporary relevance, and there we just collaborate with multiple global partners with all these experts in that area. So that is basically making us as having the USP of just making open access as well as the contemporary technologies available to all of them. Next slide, please. I'll just wind up my introduction with this small slide that what I feel that these sustainable architectures are very important to have the right kind of expertise. So I come as a professional with around 3 decades of experience, with the experience in IT as well as in technology management. And as mentioned by previous panelists, I strongly believe that in case we leverage on the open source software, that is going to have, the free cost angle to it, and that makes it more sustainable. And also you can, kind of, just share your, uh, learnings with the society and the community at large, which is also going to help the other nations as well. So with that brief introduction, I think I'll take my slides, the detailed ones later on. This is a small introduction, which is going to be relevant for the discussions ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we now would like to invite Sarah Cordoba Gonzalez, honorary member of Latindex. I will go to your slides. Just 1 minute. Here it is. Sarah, could you hear us? Sarah, could you hear us? Are you online? Still online or not? Not sure. She was there before, so I suggest we will pass to the presentation from Soshi Kubota from Japan Science and Technology Agency. And another presentation, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very
slide
much.
in 1 minute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. Can I share my slide?
Yeah. Yes. Just few minutes. It's the okay. It's the third one.
Can you see the slide?
Yeah. Wait, this one. Could you see your slide?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, and I will pass when you will. You just let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I am Soichi Kubota from Japan Science and Technology Agency. It is a great honor to be here, but I'm sorry for not presenting in person. I would like to introduce our service, JStage, briefly. Please, next slide, please. Sorry. JST is an online journal platform for Japanese academic societies. It launched its service in 1999. The purpose of this service is first, to promote the electronic publication of journals from Japanese academic societies, and second, to disseminate those publications via the internet and promote open access. About 90% journals are free to read. This slide shows the overview of JStage, but I would like to skip. This slide shows the number of Diamond Open Access journals on JStage. The number is based on our own investigation. The number of free-to-read journals is about 3,600. So only 10% of them are open access, and a third of them is Diamond Open Access. We do not restrict the open access type on our user academic societies. We accept gold away and even subscription-based. This slide shows one of our services, Journal Consulting Program. This is a service supported by a consulting company and JST staff. JST contracts with a consulting company, and it gives advice to the journals which apply to this program and are selected annually. This program has a number of courses, such as to become open access journals, to be eligible for DOAJ or Scopus, Web of Science, and so on. Let me summarize my presentation here. We have journals on JStage which have various business models, subscription-based, hybrid, and gold, and diamond. 2 years ago, National Immediate Open Access Policy was announced, but it focused on green open access. We support open access and will enhance our system to promote knowledge sharing through consulting program or seminars. I'm interested in activities on how to promote diamond open access in other countries. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Sarah is online now. She was present this morning, so if not, I could check again. No, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe? No? Okay. So thank you very much for this introduction. I think it allows us to see the diversity of initiative and point of view represented in this panel. And so now we will start the discussion. We will just put the table on the middle of the stage. Thank you. Online, I hope you could hear us properly. Sarah, if you are joining us, please let us know. So the first question I would like to ask maybe Francis, Lawrence and Mohammed on the current mechanism of support in place in your region to support your initiative. Could you tell us what are currently in place, what are the challenges, and maybe what could be innovative model or new mechanism for the future? I don't know who would like to start. Maybe Mohammed? Yeah?
Okay, yes. My institution in here is the Relawan Jurnal Indonesia, but I also represent my university also. So for the Relawan Jurnal Indonesia, for example, that what we can to support, of course, that the education for the journal editor in our region. For example, now we already have several platforms to communicate with the editor, the many members, that many volunteering that can answering a journal editor question live 24 hours in the 7 days, even in holidays, they will answering even before they going to bed. I don't know why they're answering, but they answer. But still, this one kind of support is needed. Another global south country not have kind of luxury to have kind of this big community that can answer you anything regarding journal, from the OGS till the how to layouting the article like that. So and the other one is we want to we already do that. We already do that kind of making a platform that can have improve to this educate. We doing like the RGI Academy. We doing that the supervising platform for the journal editor. We doing that collaboration with the PKP for the educating, and then also we creating some kind cataloging article for a better reader like that. Okay, maybe that's.
Thank you very much. Laurence, maybe you could give your point of view on that?
I can give you maybe a small example, which is a big one for France. CNRS, I told you before, is a research performing organization, a big one, 30,000 people working, 10,000 researchers, and research support. But we are lucky enough to have also Ministry of Higher Education, who is supporting open science in a very big way. So when they released that plan, the first plan in 2018, it was released with a fund. And this fund was aimed to fund initiative of open science. And we at CNRS are managing this fund, and this fund we are managing this fund, and we are part of the consortium which is managing this fund. It's directed by the ministry, but all research, national research performing organization, but also universities and libraries and are around the table in order to take the decision once a year. And then we apply the decision, and the fund is about 4 million a year, almost. And it's aimed to fund Diamond Open Access, initiatives like SCOS, initiatives that are international and national, publishers who meet our criteria, the criteria that we share with EDCH, for example, is the DIAMAS standard for open access, and also other initiatives and infrastructure. And we have also, since it began in 2019-2020, have released 4 calls of tender for open science edition publishing. It meets content. It can meet also development of infrastructure and technical developments in order to make fair questions and standards and interoperability between platforms. And what we don't want is to spread a lot of infrastructure because it costs a lot, but we need to mutualize the efforts and the endeavors that are being done and to share everyone's skills and competence. The better, the better.
Thank you very much. Francis?
Yes, as I told you, we have very strong support from Quebec's funding agency with our network. And we're there to seek new solutions. And we're looking at mutualization, especially. We have a pilot on that to see if editorial hubs could be a solution to have some economies of scale, professionalization of the editorial work as well. We're also mapping policies and financial support in different universities. Once we have that, we can hope there will be some emulation between universities to have a standard, like a minimum of support to give to the journals in the different universities. The main question that stays there is sustainability. So how will it work in 5 years, in 10 years? And we're thinking about that, we're looking at that, and we have some education to do about that, to make sure that people understand that public support will be needed all the way for these journals. We're not looking at something free at one point. It will work with public support since science is a public good. It's normal that there is some public support to work for that. So that's the idea of sustainability with the different actors, governments, universities, and the public. So we have to make sure as well that our journals seem relevant to the public, and to make sure that what we publish gets to the public. So there's some kind of scientific diplomacy that we have to do as well as journal editors or researchers. And the network is trying to do all that with the help of librarians, the platform Érudit, and with researchers working specially on that. So that's...
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. So building on that, let's talk a bit more about sustainability and sustainability in practice. So I would like maybe to ask you, Vanessa, which mechanisms are currently in place and which mechanism you observe currently, including through Almazy. And of course, if any panelist or online panelist would like to jump in the discussion, please raise your hand, and it's an open discussion. It's really the goal of this panel, so please feel free to add any comments.
Thank you very much. I'm going to repeat a couple of things that my colleagues have said, but it's important, I think, to give an overview of the options of how to sustain, particularly, I'm not talking about the journals now, but I'm talking about services and infrastructure because they don't get enough airtime. So that's why I want to talk about that. So government funding is absolutely crucial to go forward. And we also looked in our Marcy at some of those services, and we actually saw that looking the majority of the services and infrastructures like publication portals, for example, the national ones, a range of services for Diamond, they are funded by ministries. And secondly, we also have the important role of the institution. So often institutions initiate projects and then they continue to fund those. And we also know as journal editors, Diamond OA is very much at home in so-called parent organizations. So the importance of the institution to continue funding and supporting, usually through in-kind contributions, is absolutely crucial going forward. So government funding and government, ideally structural permanent funding. This is a little bit few and far between, but I think it's really important that these services and infrastructures don't have to spend a lot of time to actually try to recruit funding from all sorts of places and to think about different revenue streams, because that's taking away valuable time from them. And it's new skills that they need, as well as lots of additional administrative burdens. So if we could have longer term government funding, but also from the research funders, the national research funders, funds that are longer term. So there's a very interesting example, for example, from the Arcadia Fund, which is also a charity. So charities, research funders, whoever, but I think you have a really important role to take away some of the burden of this fundraising from the services and infrastructure. So Arcadia for Redelic, for example, they have a 10-year project. So they don't have to look for time-limited funding for 2 years, 3 years, which is the norm, which many of the research funders, you have those limited grants. But it's a 10-year fund, and as part of that, they have to, year on year, talk to their budgets, talk about how they are going to sustain themselves beyond the 10 years. So they've got to really build this into the work that they are doing throughout this 10 years, so that their funder is really confident that they are going to be sustainable going forward. I think that is a fantastic practice. And I think then there are a couple of other things. So of course, time-limited grants, we need those, and it's the most practical for ministries, for research funders, other institutions. So if you want innovation, if you want to develop a new platform, a publication platform for your country, a shared service that can help many Diamond OA services to get an overview of what's going on in your country. Do you know about the Diamond OA? Sorry, I probably could go on and on. I've probably got to stop. But there are lots of opportunities here and funding mechanisms. Maybe something practical for those services and infrastructures in the room. Membership fees is probably the most practical and pragmatic way for them to gather collective funding. They don't often have many opportunities, particularly many of them are based at universities. So what you can collect as a service or infrastructure is very limited. Many cannot collect donations, so they use the membership fee model. So I think that's also here to stay. And we've also heard about freemium and other mechanisms. I'm not promoting the APC or the CCP, but there are other mechanisms, but some of those bigger ones I think are here to stay, but we really need to step up the more permanent funding and longer term funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Soshi, could you give us your perspective on this question of long-term funding and what mechanism is currently in place or must be in place in your national context?
As I explained in my slide, JST provides Japanese academic societies with a system JStage for free, We offer infrastructure to the academic community, and activities and knowledge sharing about open access or artificial intelligence or so. To reiterate, JST does not limit open access method to Diamond. So we would like to promote open access for Japanese academic society journals. And so we think the sustainability is so important, but we would like to keep infrastructure to academic societies sustainably. I'm sorry. And we promote open access in Japanese academic societies by our seminars. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sarah, you are, no, I think you are still not here. So Shahu, would you like to add something on this question?
Yeah. I think sustainability in terms of being financially viable, that's going to be very important. But what I feel is that that sustainability also has a component of technology. If we start using open source, which is the free of cost, general licensing, I am reducing that burden on my governance also. So if I start improvising on those tools, I kind of reduce that technology cost, at least that ownership cost to us. But the governance, in case has sustainability in terms of keeping a provision. For example, we have some R&D as a percentage of GDP, and those parameters, if that portion is there from the government to make it more sustainable, that is going to reduce the burden on the knowledge society. So I feel to make it more sustainable, it is basically the financially and also in terms of the technology, so as to make easy for the governance to take care of this in the future. So that's my take on this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So let's turn and let's continue to discuss the governance. So what are the main barriers today to sustain Diamond open access infrastructure, and how governance could help on that and could be more a lever for long-term sustainability? And I would like to give the word to maybe Amilcar here.
Bom, muito obrigado. Na verdade, a nossa experiência diz-nos que o acesso aberto Diamante é um programa ou é um projeto de extrema importância, da qual Angola aderiu, né, ou tem estado a interagir com a organização. E, partindo do princípio, isso fez com que nós criássemos em Angola, não é, o repositório angolano de ciência de acesso aberto, a que nós temos designado por RANA. Isto começou já há alguns 2, 3 anos, e o seu lançamento aconteceu em 2024. Atualmente, existem outras estruturas de suporte para o acesso aberto. O facto disso é a perspectiva do lançamento da cátedra de acesso aberto, que será feita nos próximos meses na República de Angola, especificamente na Universidade de Oscar Ribas. E, então, o governo preocupa-se bastante em encontrar mecanismos para permitir que os estudantes, os professores, os investigadores tenham a possibilidade de interagir e ter acesso ao conhecimento. Então, esta abertura vai fazer com que as próprias instituições de Estado melhorem as suas prestações e, consequentemente, a melhoria dos cuidados e das políticas públicas do Estado. Os mecanismos a longo prazo. Isso consiste no investimento que o governo está a fazer. O nosso governo está extremamente empenhado nisso. O facto disso é a presença de um dos membros do Executivo do governo de Angola. A nossa delegação aqui é representada pela Secretaria de Estado para a Ciência, Tecnologia e Inovação. Isso mostra mais uma vez qual é o interesse do nosso governo em apoiar o acesso aberto. Como já tem estado a se dizer e a discutir-se nesta magna Assembleia, de que falar de acesso aberto não é falar de custos zero, né? Existe sempre algum custo financeiro. E esse custo financeiro tem que vir de algum lado, ou do Estado, ou implementar políticas de autofinanciamento para que isso facilite não só a produção de ciência, mas também como o acesso à própria ciência. E essas políticas de Estado têm sido desenvolvidas com a melhoria dos sistemas de conexão, não só local, mas como também global, para permitir que aquilo que nós puderemos ou possamos produzir seja também de acesso a outras latitudes, como, por exemplo, aos países de expressão portuguesa, que é o caso da CPLP. Os países da CPLP são os países da comunidade de língua portuguesa, porque nós pretendemos conectar o nosso repositório com o repositório da CPLP, assim como os repositórios dos países da mesma região, Angola. Nesse caso aí temos a África do Sul aí ao lado, temos Moçambique e outros que já estão com alguns projetos um pouco mais avançados já há alguns anos. Então, os mecanismos são baseados fundamentalmente nesses aspectos. Em relação aos investimentos a longo prazo, também é extremamente importante que os mecanismos estão ligados à sustentabilidade, principalmente ligados à conexão por via de internet de boa e de alta capacidade, de alta velocidade melhor. E isto é verificado nos investimentos que o país está a fazer. Há alguns anos foi lançado um satélite do governo de Angola, ligado estritamente à comunicação. Atualmente, o nosso repositório está dentro de um domínio que também é do Estado, por enquanto, apesar de que o Ministério do Ensino Superior tem estado a desenvolver um projeto que será o que vai se responsabilizar pela gestão, não é, do repositório angolano. Por enquanto é isso que eu tenho a dizer. Muito obrigado.
Thank you, thank you. So I would like to have at least one question regarding sharing infrastructure and ensuring long-term sustainability. So how can share and interoperable infrastructure reduce costs, could be a lever to reduce cost and improve long-term sustainability, and maybe what standards, what technical question, what governance question are most critical to make this work. Maybe we could have an input from Mohammed and also Francis. Please keep it short because we are running time, but we will keep it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, for Indonesian case experience, for example, that I will back again about the human open access ecosystem if not supported by the government policy, not just government funding, but the government policy. Because, for example, in Indonesia, mostly the platform is infrastructure is not get direct funding from the government, except the official platform, the government. So that's why the ecosystem is important in here. For example, the government give a credit to get a professorship, you need to review 2 paper, but why need 2? After he get professorship, he don't have an obligation to make kind of review again, because there is no rule about that. What if that he need to 50 review every day voluntary in the academic journal, so you can sustain that professorship like that. So it's depend on the government policy. We can talk about the infrastructure at the long-term infrastructure, but if the ecosystem is not matching with the infrastructure, so it will be collapsed, because there is no person that will handle it with integrity like that. So that's my point.
Yes, we're working on shared infrastructures, and there's certainly solutions there. There are expertise with university presses, with platforms that we can use and share. But I would like to say a word about the researcher's perspective and incentives for researchers to publish in local journals, in DOA journals. It's important because it's part of the solution to sustain journals. You need researchers to publish in them. So we have to make sure that they want to publish in their local journals with the promotions criterion, for example. If you take into account the fact that you valorize the fact that you publish locally, you publish in your local language, it's an incentive that can help. Brazil took some decision in that regard, and it worked. Publication in Portuguese, in Brazilian Portuguese, are increasing. So that can be a solution. And it depends on the community of researchers to make sure that we understand that local journals are important, not only for the benefits, the linguistic benefit, but for scientific benefits, because the reality of different communities, different countries is different and need different journals. So that's probably part of the solution, to make sure that researchers are understand why they should publish in DOA and local journals.
Laurence or Vanessa, do you want to add something on that? And then I think we will keep some question of in the room.
Well, I just wanted to add that how we did to work with our governance at CNRS. CNRS, we are working with the researchers, we are working with a lot of different disciplines. We have all disciplines in this organization, and all act different, and there are some that collaborate with a lot of people around the world. And even if when we do our policies, we make them regarding the practices of research. So it's also a need from the researchers that we need to change the system, because we see the paper mills, we see all what's happening with development of how do you say, a lot of publications, nobody can read them, nobody can write them, nobody can assess them. So we need to gain trust in the system, and policies are here to accompany, in our institution, to accompany the practices of the researcher, and it's a virtuous circle. And assessments also, the evolution of the assessment accompanies these practices and these policies. And in regard of the governance, when researchers are publishing in an open access diamond journal, it can be not a local one, it can be a shared and international one. And we researchers are meant to publish with collaborative other researchers, and that's why it's important to be here, to be many of us, and to hear and to include diversity of people and diversity of perspective. And this is why such a global summit is very important on our perspective.
Thank you. I think that Vanessa would like to add something. And we will have an entire roundtable dedicated to research assessment, I think, tomorrow. Today, sorry.
So I'd just like to add something. Yeah, you talked about international services, so let me come back to that 5 million. Imagine, so DOAJ, so many of us are using DOAJ, PKP, OJS, Redelic, there are many, so many core infrastructures. Imagine, so this is an idea, call to action. Imagine if research funders and governments, or perhaps research funders in particular, because they haven't had the tradition or the opportunities to be able to fund some of these infrastructures so much in the past. But if they could match funding, we have been collecting funding through libraries for many years for these infrastructures. We've helped raise 8.8 million euros through 1,000 or 2,000 euro contributions. So imagine if research funders could match that funding. It costs 5 million to cover the costs, the operational costs, annual costs of that critical infrastructure. It's peanuts if you shared it amongst yourselves. How could we collectively, as research funding agencies, contribute to fund that core diamond infrastructure, that collection? So libraries are doing it. If you could help match fund or take on some of those infrastructures and take away some of the pain from them, that would be amazing. So that's an idea for a call to action from this panel. Thank you.
Mecanismos. Pois, da gestão dos repositórios ou das plataformas de acesso aberto, é realmente iniciativas particulares ou iniciativas de determinados grupos. Como eu disse no princípio, quando fiz a minha apresentação, nós temos iniciativas de criação de revistas, de repositórios nas instituições, por exemplo, de ensino superior, em outras instituições de desenvolvimento e investigação, ou de investigação e desenvolvimento, mas que o regulamento ou a gestão das políticas para gerir esses repositórios são políticas do Estado. Então, sendo políticas do Estado, de uma forma ou de outra tem que haver intervenção do Estado, não é? No sentido ou de financiar ou de criar mecanismos para o autofinanciamento dessas bases ou dessas plataformas. E será de extrema importância, porque quanto mais plataformas forem criadas, quanto mais disponibilidade de revistas forem anexadas ou depositadas nesses repositórios de acesso aberto, maior é a possibilidade de nós termos o acesso à informação ou o acesso aberto diamante. O Estado também desenvolve e cria infraestruturas. Nós temos, por exemplo, nesse momento, a criação do Parque Tecnológico, né, de Luanda, que é a capital, onde serão desenvolvidos vários aspectos ligados ao acesso aberto diamante. E acreditamos que isso trará bons resultados.
Thank you. I think we have started with 10 minutes of delay, so we could have two short questions from the audience, if you have any. Please, you could start directly. No question? Yes, I think, yeah, the microphone is just, yeah.
I promised a question. So I think Vanessa kind of responded to it in her presentation already. But each of the case studies or different circumstances that have been shared with us from Indonesia, from Japan, from different parts of the world as well, from Quebec. I think everybody has a slightly different approach to what needs actually to be sustainable and what needs funding. So I think, I wonder whether beyond what's just infrastructure in terms of technology, we need to agree on what are the critical factors for success. Some have been mentioned here. I think Tanzil was talking about integrity, for example. So I wonder whether we need to have an agreement beyond just the fact that there is no fees for authors and readers. What are the critical factors for success? So also Francis mentioned, the researchers need to want to publish in the journals. I wonder whether there is some level of conversation about, what are the critical factors for success of Diamond, so that then we can determine what infrastructure can provide that sustainability as well. So that is my question for the panel.
I think I've already said a lot, but I think for me, what's really critical is something that Ariana said. It's about this collective responsibility. That's the success for going forward. So we all benefit from open science, and we have policies, we have services, we have infrastructure, lots of activities, lots of engagement. So sustaining this going forward, that's in our interest, right? So how can we do our bits in our communities to put that on the agenda, and to think, how can we make a difference? How can we do our bit? Yeah? Thank you.
Yeah, I may add that we still have to do some education to make sure that community exists, that people understand that they are part of the solution. So community of practices are important, and journals need that. The editors want that. So we see that with our network. They want to share solutions with other editors. When I said too that it was important to recognize the fact that we publish in our journals, in OAD journals, it's important too that we recognize the work that professors do. It's a contribution in kind that is very important to sustain the system. And if you're evaluating a paper, most of the time it's not recognized in your promotion or whatever. So it needs to be as important as publishing. You have to assess some work of other researchers so it works. And we have to change the system in that way, because now it's published but not assess the publications of others. So that's part of the solution as well.
Thank you. Online, do you want to add something, Shahu?
Yeah, I want to add something. Thank you. A very good question that, finally, what is that we have a consensus on the critical factors. As we discussed that it's apart from the governance, I feel that there are, multiple models for making it more sustainable in terms of the funding. Like we already said, we can have consortia, we can have shared models. Apart from that, what we can do is, suppose we try to have the open data for our, the researchers. We just try to have some kind of, competitiveness which is built around making this open data accessible in terms of, solving the societal challenges, wherein the private partners can always jump in for the part of the corporate social responsibility corpus, which they already have as 2%. They can also bridge in that gap of making the funding models more sustainable. Apart from that, as also mentioned by the other panelists, the policy support is definitely important from the funders, from the institutions, from the government. But the important part is whatever we are doing, how are we trying to assess the quality of that? So for example, the peer review has to be rigorous, the editorial independence, there is no encroachment in terms of, just saying that this has to be published. And also how far my infrastructure is interoperable from cross-border, coordination. For example, maybe with South-South coordination, maybe with Global South coordination. So these factors are very important apart from the academic incentives, and also making it more, equity and inclusive oriented. So these factors are very important in terms of making it truly diamond open access, which is sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that. No more comments online? Okay, so I think we could stop here. I would like to thank very much every panelist for all your expertise on that. I think we highlight here very clearly that sustainability is really a collective responsibility and shared responsibility. That we need to explore different mechanisms and to allow this diversity of mechanisms, including through regional contexts. We also discuss this need of cross-border interoperability, and thank you, Cheryl, for bringing this. And I think, as a takeaway, at least on my side, I keep this amount about 100 million for subscription for one country, compared to 6 million a year to sustain a large variety of infrastructures. So again, we know that the money is already on the landscape, in the landscape, and so we need to find new mechanisms to sustain better open science infrastructure. Thank you again. Thank you to our online participants.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We thank Zoe, the convener of this session, and also all the speakers for an excellent and thought-provoking session. And we greatly appreciate their efforts in advancing open community-driven system. May I now invite Lydia and Dr. Anuradha Agarwal ma'am to kindly, as a token of appreciation on behalf of organizers, we would like to honor the speakers here. I also invite the conveners to join. Dr. Uma and Ashley, please come on stage. Yeah, now we will be moving on to the poster session that will be chaired by Milani, and the convener Dr. Shankar will be there with her, and I will invite Milani to take over. This is for poster session. It is between 11 to 11:30.
So my friends, this is the time to meet the people that have prepared these 4 fantastic posters. It's just going to be on your left-hand side, and we'll be waiting for you for this presentation. Delphine Crubillier from the CNRS is going to be there. Fernando Cesar Igoza from the University of Guadalajara, Mexico is going to be there. Lena Shan from DOAJ and Ablaz Mohammed Shayman from the Sabriata Press, India are going to be there. So grab a cup of coffee, join us. We're going to have 4 fantastic presentations about these posters. See you soon.
So since we started, it's at 11:10 now, 11:11. So 10 minutes, the next session will start at exactly at 11:40. I request Momita, can get ready for the next session at 11:40, Momita. Thank you.